What's going on, all you cool cats and kittens? We are back for another Horse Talk Live. It has been a minute rounding up the new year. Now we are in 2024. I feel like 2024 sounds like we should be in the Jetsons, like there should be some flying cars or something like that. But happy to be here and happy to help some folks with their horses. So, without further ado, I bring to you some videos. Miss Wendy and Melissa working with Norman to get him softer and better at paying attention. See what we've got. I like it. Got him by the nose. That's nice. What's going on, Robert? Wendy? Hi from Tennessee. Thank you, my lady.
You're welcome.
Looking good. Getting that horse bent off center. So what I tell the students to get them to get the absolutely perfect passing grade is they do just like that. They grab them a little bit closer to the nose. A little bit closer to the nose. And then the goal is to be able to go through both without their hand coming above their belt. Obviously, this guy's a little bit pumped up. Remember, whenever he gets stuck like that, try not to let the line get stuck. Try to keep that friction moving so that he looks yield to it. Once he lays against it and you're laying against him, that takes away the potency of the halter. I like the sound effects, trying to set him off, get him to look one way or another. Few folks from Tennessee, Missouri, from Vermont, high in Vermont. That sounds super cold. Good job. Way to work on first grade. And then on top of that, add some stimulus to first grade to see how you're doing. Because that is the way to know if your horse is going to fall apart with you or not. You want to scare the bejesus out of him. She backs up when I raise my hand and whip and ask for a butt to come towards me. She won't stand still for me to mount. So you might want to go over to the fence where you can ask of her. Whenever you're on that mounting block and you do the come get me trick, you can't really ask of her because she can move off and get a release. If you were on the gate, you can ask of her a little bit more. So you would want to be able to reach over and touch that side of the hip to ask her to come towards you. Again, whenever we're doing the come get me trick, the mounting block is the very last place that we do it. We like that round pin you have there, that's a great place to start it, because if you're straddling that fence, if she bumps into you or pulls away from you, well, then you can still stick with it. I started at the fence and we did good there, and now I'm moving to my mounting block and trying that. There's a couple steps that you can put in between. You can do something like the side of your trailer. You can do a picnic table, the bed of your truck. All those things are going to be more stable for you than that mounting block's going to be. The mounting block, I mean, I almost want the horse doing it perfectly before I go to the mounting block. because they start getting releases like this where you can't really ask of them. Right now, if you were standing on the back of a truck doing this, like you could pull on her face a little bit, or you could put a little pressure with that crop and not really be risking anything. Whenever you're on that mounting block like that and you do that, when you ask of them, they can just lean away and they can get a release, or they can bump into you and they get a release. So I like to be on something a little bit more stable than that. If you, for you guys who have been to the ranch, which most of you, we do it a lot from the benches that are up on the wall, because they're pretty stable and steady. Nice job. Looks like we got a little blanket on. Looking a little chilly over there in Florida.
Wow. I didn't have to do anything when you're doing it. Good girl.
Lowering the watch machine for us. That's what I like to hear. Around here, this rodeo town, and they say, well, son, you pay for the go, not the woe. I have traveled around the world, ridden horses in every continent that has horses for my ability to get that whoa, to get that woosah. So that is big steps to get a hot horse and just get them to relax, just be easy. That's what we're talking about. I like her with her princess dress on. I think it's a good look for her. I like the lake out that way. Who on here is ready for some warmer weather? Because I know I'm ready.
Whoa. Whoa.
There you go. Way to be patient there.
So I was doing great. And
Very nice. Very nice. Her passive is 30 plus with as much fire as ever. Sounds like my grandmother. The fire doesn't leave. So now they're working on stopping, standing, backing, walking off again. Right now we are having some students in doing continued education, and it's the same thing. We spent a lot of time with professional students just dropping heads, relaxing, getting the horses to move slower, quieter, easier. So the question was, will all this patience and persistence pay off? I think it's kind of like putting investments in the bank. You just keep putting in, keep putting in, keep putting in. I see so much progress in your ability to stay calm, your ability to put your hands where you want them to be, and to stay consistent in what you're asking. I think it's just a matter of time. You'll look up and say, oh, I really can ride like that. Oh, I can do this or I can do that. And that's how often it happens is it will seem like there's no progress and you work at something, you chip it away, chip it away. If there is a rock cutter and he's beating on a rock and beating on a rock and beating on a rock, and he hits strikes it 100 times in the same spot, and the 101st time the rock cracks and splits the way that he wants it, was it the 101st strike or was it the 100 strikes in the same place that added to it? A lot of times that's how our progress is. All right, Miss Barb. So before we go to that counterbend circle, let's go right back to those leg yields. So we need to be able to go forward first. Us kind of doing like that, we've lost our motion. You know how I tell you it's motion over maneuver? So let's go back to our circle. Anytime you like lose direction of it, let's go back to our circle. Our horse has kind of gotten confused with the cues of what we're asking, and start making that circle bigger. And whenever that circle is easy to get big, then you can look over your shoulder like you're doing there and have it make sense. But we got to have our forward first, and we got to have those shoulders already given. So right there, I would go around that cone and look at that cone, and I would start pushing her out as I'm going around that cone first. And then once she's covering ground and those shoulders are moving out, that's when I would shift over and look outside of my shoulder to get that counter bend. If you do that, those layers are going to be a lot easier for her. Very nice, Miss Liz. Very nice. Look at that joker wanting to put his head down. That's what I like to see. Hey, hey, Miss Maria. Look at that. Look at that high-headed joker with his head in the dirt on that loose rein. That's what we want to see right there. Poor Miss Liz. Looks like she has 5 different layers, 6 different layers on. Getting chilly just thinking about it. That is so awesome. That's what we want to see. That just goes right back to the same thing of just picking day after day on the same thing at the same rep. When you see those reining horses or those Western pleasure horses that have a certain look, understand that's not just a ride. You do a trick, you put the button, and there it is. Folks are working on that look day after day after day and getting it quieter and quieter until they get the look that they want. So it's the same thing when we want a quiet, easy horse. Let me go back and get that question one more time. Will she ask him to speed up? He wants to canter. Is power of the circle the best way to correct this? Yeah. Power of the circle is definitely the best way because you don't feel like you have to hold back too much. It just start putting your calves on little by little. If you want to just have him gait as he goes around, pick your hands up a little bit and let him pick up his head, give him something to guide against. I think you have him walking good enough here. That you can start letting him pick up his head a little bit and gait, and then stop and sit completely back down again, and he's going to be cool with it. Like right there, see how he kind of wants to gate? And that's with our hands down by our thighs. If you want to go ahead in that power of the circle and start picking your hands up and sitting up straight and say, okay, I want you to gate, not really gassing him, not really just allowing him to go, and have your hands a little higher where he says, oh, this is on and this is off and this is on and this is off. You're going to make it very black and white for him where he says, oh, very well. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. I think him doing kind of that power circle and giving that loose rein, it's just a hard switch for him. So I think if you can now that you got him quiet enough, allow him to pick his head up a little bit and travel around when you want him to go at a higher rate of speed and gate a little bit, it's going to help a lot.
Sit. Sit. Sit.
Very good job, Miss Liz. Now we're working on Miss Judy, getting that sit down.
Girl, come on, sit. Come on, sit. Ginger. Focus. Everything's out there. Focus. Sit. Sit. Good try. Good. A little more. Sit. Sit.
So she's working on her sit down, getting that back up.
3 for Ginger. Sit. Ginger.
So notice whenever we're asking for that backup and we're tapping so much and she's not kind of even looking our direction, we want to get that back up with a little bit of impulsion. That's why you see me whenever I'm doing it in the barn, I get them backing up with a little bit more excitement so that this doesn't happen, or she's just kind of like tuning us out a little bit. The next thing is I like this here. The problem is where it touches under her hocks seems very early on, and then where her butt's going to sit is further back. So she's going to have to take a leap of faith. That couple inches there to there is like a leap of faith that she's going to have to take. So you kind of want it all the same height above her hocks.
Ow, watch my head. Sit. Sit. Ginger. Come on.
Yeah, okay, so then you wrote it down exactly right. That wall needs to be bigger.
Second day of sit down.
For you to go one bell on a horse, that horse really has to understand how to sit down already. Because a couple things can happen. They can step up on it because it's so low that's easy to pick a back leg up. The other thing that can happen is they can get nervous because they feel like they slip and there's like a big sit down, which can spook them as well. So I would like to see 2 bells there. The next thing, if I was going to use this tarp, I would really tuck the bottom of the tarp under the bell because their back feet need to slide. So a lot of times if you have a blanket, a quilt, a tarp, and it's on what they're sitting on, their back feet can't slide. It gives them a hard time.
Don't get a cookie till you sit. Sit.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of
Good boy.
getting another bell.
Sit. Sit. Sit.
Very nice. Hold his head up and hold it straight.
Might be a little low for him this time.
There we go.
Oh, that's a good boy. You get a cookie.
That's it. That's it. Hold his head up and straight. Usually I'll use the L of my hand and put it under their chin and hold their head and neck up.
Sit. Sit.
So right here, his back feet need to slide for this to work.
Sit. Sit. Sit.
There you go. Hold his head up. Don't let it bend down.
Good try. Might have it too low. That's such a good try, Corazon.
Very nice. Very nice. So you see, guys, how they make that V and their back feet and their front feet come together? In that moment, the only thing we do with their face is we hold it up. Because if they're teeter-tottering, that's why they want to put their head down. If we let them lean forward, well, then they're not sitting down. So you want to make sure that in that moment when they're teeter-tottering, that we hold them up, we bump them upward, and hold their back straight. Don't let them bend this way or that way. Hold their back straight and even. And that's going to get where they find that resting spot.
Sit. Look at how rounded your back is. Sit. You can see it. That's fine. It's right there.
So you see Corazon here, he's been trained to sit down. So look how he pokes his spine out. Anytime you pick that crop up, look how his spine is taut. The way that you teach that is You don't start by sitting them down. You
You
push
got
them
it,
up
buddy.
against the
Come on,
hay
sit.
wall where there's no chance of sitting down, and they learn how
Good
to use their
job.
body. So look
Good
how
job,
well
Horse.
rounded this guy's
Good
back is,
job.
his spine's sticking out,
Stay there. I didn't
because
get
he's
bumped
been
out yet.
taught, he's been trained
Good boy.
to sit like that.
Good boy.
So that's what the other one
Good
needs to learn
boy.
is a higher chair
Good
and
boy.
learn how to push against it.
Sit. 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 You got it.
That's
Sit.
it.
I know.
Right there, a
got
couple
it.
little bumps up with the face.
Yeah, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. Look at my good boy.
Very nice.
Good job. Good job, buddy. Good job. Look at you. Okay, take him out.
Good job.
Good.
Very nice work. All right. We have an exciting year coming up. Exciting year coming up. A lot of things going on. I have a couple questions here. I have a question about the earlier challenges, the sit down, the lay down. What is the benefit of these tricks in the scope of training? Miss Lori. All right, so the benefits of anything that really a horse doesn't want to do or is them giving to pressure, it makes them that much more pliable. So a lot of people who train wild grown horses, Mustangs and Brumbies and things like that, a lot of trainers really believe in laying the horse down manually because the horse is giving at its hardest point, where they feel the most subdued by giving up their superpower. And once they lay down and they've given in and they get back up, it's almost as if you saw me at my worst and nothing bad happened. And there's a breakthrough there, a mental breakthrough. For me, a lot of this stuff is just getting that horse in the habit of doing difficult things. You meet people and know people who are accustomed to doing difficult things, and it's almost like they have an edge on life. Like they're doing better, it seems like. Folks who are constantly like trying to run marathons and taking on challenges and doing things. A lot of you ladies, you're the challenging getter out of your friends that you're constantly trying to do the next horse challenge or the next challenge. So it's the same thing with horses. I notice horses that are well-rounded and do a lot of things. It's like it's easier to deal with them. It's easier to communicate with them. Excuse me. Because they're accustomed to learning. They're accustomed to giving. So that's where those tricks, from a technical standpoint, a lay down and a sit down. The lay down is good in olden times where you can lay the horse down and you can shoot from behind them. That is the technical aspect. So there's not real world technical aspect today other than you're just making that horse more pliable. You're making that horse easier. You're getting that horse where when they get into a bind, they're really going to look for you because you've put them in so many mental binds through your training that they know looking to you is where that answer comes from. All right, question number 2. I have been concentrating on a lot of groundwork. I have developed a routine that runs through kindergarten to 12 plus side passing. I have honed this routine in about 15 minutes. It's getting so good that I have done it at Liberty twice. I actually got goosebumps the first time. The problem is that he does fine at home on the ground and in the saddle, but when we are away from home, it's like Jekyll and Hyde. He settles down after about a mile plus flexing in motion. Joe Edison. All right, my buddy Joe, good old Texas boy. All right, fella, this is the thing. A lot of us, we use this as, for most people in the clinics that we do, in the retreats that we do, just getting the horse through the respect series is so difficult because they have no routine. They have no standards, that the difficulty of getting through it gets the horse's undivided attention. And that's great. That's awesome. And for the vast majority of horses, just doing that is going to make a night and day difference. Now, for a lot of you guys who are here that are studying, that are spending a weeknight watching me to watch videos, to study, you're studious, probably your horse knows how to do the respect series, and it's just a common everyday thing. With that being said, when you get good at something, it no longer is a repercussion for a horse. When they get good at something, it's not a repercussion. So all I ever want is the American dream. All I ever want is more. So that's why sometimes at a clinic, you'll see me work really hard on one horse to get them to take a step back. And another horse, I might run them backwards the whole length of the arena. those are two different horses that I got the same thing out of both of them. I got their respect and undivided attention. One horse couldn't back. So just one step backwards was like, oh my goodness, okay. The other horse, he's very educated. He came through some training program that they back up some. So he knows how to back up. So me just backing him a step or two, I look in his face and I see that he doesn't care because we're somewhere else. We're at our retreat that he's not used to being on a ranch, and he's looking all over the place. But I go, bah! And I chase him backwards. And now he's like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So your ability to not only just have exercise and know what to go through, but know what level to take it to where your child says, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. That's what you really want to be able to do to take it to that next level. Just having exercise and going through things is already putting you leaps and bounds above most people who are dealing with horses. But your ability to read each and every horse that you're around and realize, oh, you're going through the motions and giving me the answers that you think I want to hear because you're educated enough, but you're not paying attention to me. That's where it comes in, your ability to take it to that next gear, ask a little bit more. And through that process of getting a little bit more, you can get their undivided attention. Then it doesn't take you a mile. What it takes you is that 50 feet of a rush backup. Oh my goodness. Or that couple disengagement, or that couple of backing up crooked in a manner that they really have to ask. A lot of times, the style in which I flex a horse will grab the horse's undivided attention. The students hate to bring me a horse. You can ask old Roberts on here. The students will bring me a horse and they'll say, hey, this horse is working so good. Why don't you ride him? They want to bring me the horse when it's working good. Show me how good they're doing. And then I'll hop on and I'll just flex the horse from one side to the other and the horse will fall apart. The horse will run backwards or hop up and throw his head up in the air, throw a fit, because I asked the horse to drag his chin across his chest. And if they haven't been flexing to that standard or to that level, the horse can't fake it. The horse can't pretend like he knows. You can just pick up a rein and have a horse do this and this and kind of fake it. Yeah, I know the answer. Yeah, here's my head. But for them to draw down to their chest and drag their chin from point of the shoulder to point of the shoulder, the horse really has to be in tune and paying attention. And that's just one of the many ways that we ask the horse, hey, are you paying attention? Are you respectful? Are you listening to me? And especially when you go somewhere else and there's something to see, because like you saw Norman earlier in the videos, when he's looking around like this and I go to flex him across here, something has to give. Either he has to throw a fit because I'm flexing him when he's trying to look that way, or he has to say, okay, I'll give you my face. And whenever he gives up his face, we're good to go. So if you can start really paying attention to how your horse is reacting to this stuff, it's going to take you to that next level. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is going to be an awesome year. I'm so excited to see what 2024 has in store for us. We already have some gigs that we've never had before. We're going to Des Moines next month. We are going to California for the expo out there this summer. A lot of stuff going on. We are working diligently to get to the World Series of roping this year. We're actually going to a roping this Saturday, which we're going to get some practice in at. So very exciting year. Can't wait to see all you guys at the retreats and the trainings. Just going to be a great time. Hope you guys have a great week and see you next week.